Hey everyone! In today's video, we are going to share our experience with you on Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas cruise ship and what it's like if the ship is at full capacity, so you know what to expect and plan for. Our recent sailing on Wonder of the Seas was by far the busiest cruise we have ever seen. So in this video, we are going to be completely transparent with you on what this experience was like and how to still make the most of your vacation while surrounded by crowds. First of all, don't panic. The purpose of this video is not to make anyone feel discouraged about their upcoming vacation. It's the opposite. A crowded ship doesn't mean you're going to have a bad vacation, so think of this video as your guide to know what it could be like and tips to help you navigate a crowded ship and make the most of it. At the end of the day, if the ship ends up being busy, you are still on vacation on a cruise and not at work, so that's pretty exciting. What you are about to see crowd-wise in this video does not mean that every sailing on Wonder of the Seas is like this. We've sailed on an Oasis class cruise ship before and felt like there were hardly any crowds at all. We'll show you what the pool decks were like on sea days at maximum capacity, what the elevator situation was like, what our recommendations for food are with the crowds on board, how to still get to see all of the shows that you want to see, and our recommendations for where to go and how to beat the crowds on board when you want a little bit of quiet time. So let's get into it. Wonder of the Seas is the second largest cruise ship in the world, so the bigger the ship, the bigger the crowds can be. However, these ships are well designed to have tons of different venues and entertainment options to help disperse the crowds too, so everyone isn't in the same place at the same time. Wonder of the Seas can hold a maximum capacity of just under 7,000 guests at 6,988 guests on board, and that's not including the crew that works on the ship, so that's a lot of people. We sailed over spring break, and our cruise as well as the cruise after ours was at maximum capacity and had lots of children on board as well since they were off school. If you really truly want to avoid the crowds as much as you can and you haven't booked your cruise yet, then you may want to consider booking during a time when kids are in school or at a time when there are no holidays. But if not, it's okay. You're going to be on a cruise after all. We'll start with the most popular place and the place we felt the crowds the most, which was the pool deck. I'm going to be really honest with you. The pool deck was beyond packed. So much that people were up at 5 a.m. to get lounge chairs and leaving their stuff there. Now, this is against Royal Caribbean's policy to leave towels or belongings on chairs to save them, but I think the staff on board were so unbelievably busy serving almost 7,000 people that they tried their best to enforce this rule, but it didn't end up making much of a difference as there were too many people doing it. On sea days, it was almost impossible to get a lounge chair on the pool deck unless you got up at the crack of dawn, which we didn't do as we were on vacation and wanted to relax a little bit more. However, don't get discouraged if you can't find a lounger. You may have to do a couple of laps around the pool and maybe you'll get lucky and find one. Or if the pool doesn't matter to you and it's more about the sunshine, there are other places to sit and relax to catch some rays. The sports deck didn't have loungers, but it did have chairs with footstools to use. There was also a place we found right in between the water slides that we could relax and people watch with loungers. The only con was it didn't get as much sun. Or you can check around 3 p.m. The pool deck started to vacate a little bit more as people went to get ready for dinner, and there was still sunshine to enjoy, especially if you have a later supper planned and you don't need to get ready yourself.
On a sea day, you should go and get your chairs.
Don't sleep in.
Don't sleep in like we did. Don't have a nice leisurely breakfast like we did. Go get your chair.
It's like Black Friday.
It's Black Friday out there. Boat's at capacity. The ship's at capacity.
Did you say ship?
Ship. The ship is at capacity this trip. So there is not a pool chair to be found. So as you can see, we're at the basketball court to get some sunshine.
Sunshine can still be enjoyed on board, but we just want to be as transparent with you as possible. The pool deck is going to be busy on sea days, so be flexible in where you may have to sit or get there as early in the morning as you can to ensure you get a good spot. Another alternative is on a day when you're in port. If you get back early, you can take advantage of an empty pool deck and an empty ship. The solarium can be busy, but it's a lot less busy than the pool deck, and you'll definitely have a better shot finding a spot in here to sit and relax. Plus, this area is typically for adults only if you're trying to find a bit more of a relaxed atmosphere as opposed to a hectic pool deck. However, they say it's climate controlled in here, but as I mentioned in our last video, I found it quite hot in the solarium. But if you are someone who doesn't doesn't mind the heat, you'll find this place a much more relaxed atmosphere. So now let's talk elevators. If you've never been on a cruise before, you may find this next part kind of odd to be mentioned in a video, but anyone who has cruised before know that the elevators are really busy, even when the ship isn't at full capacity. Wonder of the Seas has 18 decks on board, so elevators are hot commodities. There are 24 elevators for guests on board, and sometimes you'd think there's only one judging by the crowd. If you aren't going far and you are able to, we always recommend to just take the stairs. But some people don't have a choice but to use the elevators, or sometimes you're trying to go up a ton of decks and the elevator makes a lot more sense. So if you do choose to use the elevator, wear your patience pants. It may take a few elevators before there's room for you to get on, and just remember to be courteous to other guests who are also waiting for elevators.
The elevators are beyond packed on this sailing.
It's okay. We burned the calories.
burn the calories
Look, it's like
eat more.
360 deep, and my rings are all closed.
Look, that's excellent for a vacation that's not Disney.
My rings have been closed every day.
Every day. I've been over 10,000 steps a day on this cruise. You earn what you eat. This is my first time in 7 days in an elevator by myself. This is wild. Oh my gosh, and we even made it the whole way. Where is everybody?
In last week's video, we gave you a full tour of Wonder of the Seas, so if you haven't already, make sure to check out our Wonder of the Seas playlist and check it out. But if you have watched it, then you'll remember that we talked about all of the dining venues on board, both complimentary and specialty that cost extra. If you are looking to avoid crowds and the more popular areas, then I can assure you that the specialty dining restaurants that cost extra are very low key. Yes, all of the tables could be full at times, but you still have a nice, relaxed atmosphere to enjoy your meal. A complimentary alternative to enjoy your meal is the main dining room for breakfast, lunch, and supper. At supper time, this place is super busy, but since it's a more formal sit-down meal, it's still a more relaxed atmosphere and not so chaotic. The other complimentary included options that you won't find overly crowded would be Sorrento's Pizza, as it's just a constant moving line to get pizza, or even the Park Cafe that's found up on Deck 8 in Central Park. I do have to say though that I loved El Loco Fresh, the Mexican spot on board, but during lunchtime on a sea day, this place could certainly get lined up. Promenade Cafe is my favorite spot on the ship to get specialty coffee, but this place is really busy in the mornings. It was usually a bit of a wait for your coffee, but if you're in a hurry and need your caffeine fix, you can opt for the regular complimentary coffee on board, or you can go to the Vitality Cafe up where the spa and fitness center are. They also have specialty coffees available, and it's less busy there. Or you can just opt to pay extra and go to the Starbucks on board. The busiest place to eat on the entire ship is hands down easily going to be the Windjammer. This is your main buffet area that's complimentary, and using the word busy may be an understatement for this location. There are some diehard Windjammer fans, and I do understand why. The quality of the buffet food in the Windjammer on Wonder of the Seas was actually really good, and it was a casual, easy place to take your family for a meal, but it is definitely chaotic. I want to point out though that since this was the largest Windjammer at sea, we were able to find places to sit and eat our meals despite the crowd. If you want to enjoy the buffet and avoid the crowds, try being flexible with your meal times. If you try to avoid peak dining times and are flexible with your eating schedule, we went in there at off times and it was a lot more relaxing. The Solarium is another buffet option for breakfast we mentioned in our last video. It's a lot smaller than the Windjammer and it can still get busy, but it has great selections and isn't the same level of chaos as the Windjammer. The tables inside fill up fast, but there are tables outside too.
So the Solarium, as you saw, is a buffet too, but much smaller than the Windjammer and a little easier to get around. And they have lots of great selections. Check it out. Still busy though everywhere on this ship.
The bars can be busy too if you're waiting to get a drink, so just make sure to be patient if you choose a busy one. On a crowded ship, there will tend to be lines. Okay, so now let's talk about entertainment on board if the ship is at maximum capacity. I am happy to report that we actually had no issues whatsoever going to any of the shows on board, but this is in part to us booking our shows in advance of our cruise. I can't recommend this enough. If shows are important to you on your cruise, make sure to reserve your spot in advance for peace of mind. You can do this on Royal Caribbean's website on your cruise planner, usually 30 to 40 days in advance, so keep checking. Now, if you didn't book your shows in advance, don't get discouraged. There are standby lines, but when the ship is at maximum capacity like it was during our sailing, those standby lines are going to get pretty long pretty fast, so I would recommend recommend to grab a drink and hop in the standby line at least 45 minutes to an hour before the show starts to try and grab a spot. The most popular shows are going to be Intense in the Aqua Theater because it's really well done and an incredible experience, but also the comedy shows that are located in the comedy venue called The Attic, just because it's small. If you miss out on the comedy shows at The Attic, there's usually a comedy show at some point during your sailing in the Royal Theater, which has a lot more seats available. When the shows let out, there are so many people trying to funnel out of them that traffic can easily get congested. And it was almost a very close call for Greg one night as he really needed to pee and had to abandon us to get through the crowd to the restroom as quickly as he could.
Did you make it?
Yeah. That was close. Oh my god. You must see a 35-year-old man pee himself. It was close.
He almost didn't make it.
I almost didn't make it. That was hard. Like, you ever pee and it bring tears to your eyes?
For activities, there is a lot to do on the ship in general, but then a lot of great activities that you can check out in your cruise planner. But here are a couple we found a little intense in terms of crowds. Mini golf can be found on deck 16 on the sports court. I would recommend if you wanted to play mini golf to go in the morning or in the evening as it was a lot less crowded. During the day on sea days, mini golf was a madhouse. This is definitely a great activity for kids and they really were everywhere. There were so many kids here that they were even coming out of the mini golf holes. The whale here is the last hole, and after my dad shot a ball in there, this kid popped out and startled us.
Oh. Oh.
Another series of events that were hilariously busy were if you wanted a free rope bracelet, you could stop by Effie Jewelry Store on various cruise days at different times. This was pure insanity though. The smaller shows during the day aren't typically overly crowded as there's so much going on at once, so those were never an issue for us if there's any of those shows that you want to see. Sometimes the cruise ship hosted fun events on different sea days. During our last day on the ship, they hosted a carnival on the boardwalk with fun games for kids. They also had popcorn and treats and cotton candy available, and this event was super crowded and very popular. The Royal Promenade also tends to have live music and dancing. It can feel a little crowded, but you can easily get around it. So where are some places we found that are a bit less crowded and you can relax more? First, I would say Central Park was one of our favorites. It's all open and outdoors, and we had a great little bar to get drinks at the Trellis Bar. I found even if it was busy, the atmosphere here was very relaxed and we could always find a table or a place to sit, and it's so beautiful here. The solarium and the pool deck at night were some of my favorite spots because they were all lit up, but all of the crowds of the day were gone, which now made it a really peaceful spot to relax or have a drink on the comfy seats or loungers that they have around.
Greg, what do you think of that hot tub?
Ewok. The lobster tank, as you'd say.
Lobster tank.
Everybody's all burnt. Looking like lobsters.
Oh, yeah, all the sunburnt people go in the lobster tank. But it gets cloudy. I don't know about that one. I feel like people don't get out to go pee. Make sure to check out the ship at night. It's really pretty and quiet. The party's downstairs.
We also mentioned in our last video that we really enjoyed the Wipeout Bar by the Abyss Slide and the Flow Rider because this bar usually had less lines, and we like to sit next to the slide and look out over the back of the ship at the water.
It smells very strongly of grass up here.
Like someone just mowed some yard.
Yeah, it does. It smells like summer.
And of course, your room is a great spot to find a little solace and possibly take a nap. And this part I feel I shouldn't need to say, but please, please, please be nice and courteous to the crew on board and to other guests on board. The crew is away from their families and working tirelessly to take care of you and 7,000 other people. So let's make sure we treat everyone with kindness and respect, and I promise you'll have a much better vacation if you do. We hope this video gives you some realistic expectations of what to expect if your cruise on Wonder of the Seas does end up at full capacity, and to see there are lots of alternative options or tons of ways to still make sure you have a great time. Even with all the crowds, we had a fantastic cruise and vacation. Thank you so much for watching our latest video. If you're looking for more Wonder of the Seas content, make sure to subscribe and check out our Wonder of the Seas playlist for more. We have so many more videos of our cruise that we can't wait to show you. If you enjoyed this video, we would greatly appreciate if you would hit the like button and subscribe to follow along for more. If you like Disney, theme parks, food, and traveling, check out our channel. Thanks for watching!